Right, yeah, okay. My name's David Reeve. I'm from Zambia, and I've just been the first Zambian competitor in the Dakar Rally, which is very exciting for me. I've been racing bikes for 32 years, which has mainly been motocross in my earlier days, and I got as far as racing GP motocross, and then off-road enduro and off-road racing. I've won the Zambian championships 16 times and the African championships 3 times this last year. So it's been an aim of mine, a bucket list, a major tick for the bucket list to go to the Dakar, and for the last 2 years, I've really been keen to get there. And a very good friend of mine named Gillian Dykes, who in fact is one of the most important people in this whole Dakar scene for me. She really pushed me over the edge and got me to a point where, you know, we're going to do this. We're going to do this Dakar. Let me give you guys an idea of what Dakar is like from a rider's perspective. Well, think about your hardcore off-road race or enduro race, because Dakar is both, to be honest with you. I had situations where my rally bike was too high geared in first gear and I was looking for a lower gear, so it was full enduro. And I had times where I was sitting at 152 kilometers an hour, I couldn't go any faster, the bike physically couldn't go any faster. Let me give you an idea. Think about your hardest enduro. You ride for 7 hours. Now do that and do it again the next day and do it for 14 days non-stop, 1 rest day in between. That is what Dakar is about. It's about waking up in the morning when you're already exhausted and sore from the day before and doing it all again and doing it again the following day and doing it again in the following day, and forgetting also that you're battling to eat now and sleep because of generators and everything else, and you're still having to fill in your road book in the evening, which is fundamentally important because you have to mark out all the danger marks in nice bright red ink pen. That is basically where Dakar is coming from. It's your hardcore enduro race times 14. Okay, so on an average day in the Dakar, you'll get woken up by your team at about 3:30 in the morning, because you've got to wake up, you've got to have breakfast, you've got to put all your kit on, which can take a bit of time, and then you've got to get to the start. So up 3:30 on the bike, 4:30 along a liaison stage on the tar to the start of the racing stage. You can do anything up to 350 k's along the liaison easily. Get to the racing stage, you line up there, and then they will call you one by one in your order of your day before's results. So if you came 29th the day before, you will generally go off 29th that day. So you get to the start of the racing stage, that'll now be off-road. The bikes go off every 30 seconds, and that now, once your flag drops at the beginning of the racing stage, it is just crazy. You can imagine the most intense motocross race. Well, this is it. We're going to now race for anything up to another 350 k's, flat out for some hours. It is just absolutely astronomical, the speeds that some of these guys go at. You know, I always used to think that it would be pretty moderate, but it's phenomenal, the speeds at the racing stages. So the flag goes and you're off, and I can ride fast. You can follow track if you want and go like hell. It's just it's just not an ideal situation. You've got to go every meter by meter according to your road book, because on that road book is all the dangers, the dips, the dives, the biggest rocks, the ledges, everything the Dakar, the ASO have put in the road book. And that is imperative that you, the night before, go through that road book and mark out all those danger points. So you head off in the racing stage, and straight away, of course, any racer, you just want to overtake motorbikes. And this is where you have to control your brain, because as a racer, my whole racing career, every race I've entered to win it, and clearly I'm not going to win the Dakar. But so this is something you have to overcome. You know, the whole time you just want to overtake. You hate seeing, as a racer, you hate seeing somebody in front of you. And a major issue we have is dust. You can imagine in the desert, the dust is just unbelievable. And Giovanni Sala, a very good friend of mine, he just punched into my brain, David, do not overtake in the dust. And this, I think, is a major important thing to remember. You cannot overtake in the dust. If you overtake in the dust, you're gonna fall off, because there's so many obstacles out there. Rocks, dips, dives, sand dunes, whatever. If you can't see, you just slow down. And a lot of the time, this is what happens. You're in the dust and you have to wait for the right time to overtake. This can go up for 350 Ks, and it's for hours. And this is where the training comes in. And, we can all ride for 350 Ks flat out, but it's whether you can do it day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And this is what the training is for. So anyway, going through the racing stage, you'll be racing, and you have to judge, your fitness and your mental state, because it's all very well going hell for leather. If you're not on that road book, you're going to fall off. And just slowly going, you get yourself into a rhythm. You slowly find out the guys who are sort of same pace as you, maybe a bit faster, maybe a bit slower. It's amazing through the day. There was a gentleman, Oliver Setters, found ourselves riding together, and he's a legend. He's very well-known Dakar rider, and I rode with him a lot, and it's amazing what you learn from these guys. You can see when he slows down, and you're on the gas, and you can see him slowing down, and you're wondering why. It's amazing. Straight away I would slow down, and you could see he had like a sixth sense of what was coming up in the stage, and this is something that is really important with Dakar, is learning from the experience of the other guys, whilst you're out there, not so much through word and mouth, but watching them and seeing how they read the terrain. But the racing stages are phenomenal. They are flat out. They are such good fun, and if you're a racer, it's what it's all about. Come the end of the racing stage, just like that, poof, you're suddenly at the end. There'll be a refuel. You refuel your bike, and then you might have another 250 kilometers liaison back to the bivouac. And it's quite nice. You can chill out. You can relax. But one thing that is in the racing stages and on the liaisons, which are vitally important, are speed traps. They come up in the road book. You'll get a 30, a 90, or a 120. You go over those speeds in those zones, they're called speed zones. You go over those speeds in those zones, you will get nailed. Anything up to 3 hours. And your whole Dakar can come to a grinding halt just because you went 5 kilometers over the speed limit in the speed zone. So the whole time you have to be on your game. Even when you're not in the racing stage, when you're on the liaison, your brain needs to be switched on. Because you go over the speed limit, you're nailed. You have to pay a fine, and you get penalized in your time. So the whole time, from the 4:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the evening, whenever you get back, your brain is going overtime. All right, so we have these things called waypoints, and each competitor has to go through a waypoint. Now, if you miss a waypoint, you can get penalized anything from 15 minutes to an hour. And what happened to me is that on the first day on the first racing stage, myself and Carlos Sainz, the two of us out of the whole Dakar scene, our two GPSs messed around. My GPS was not talking to the waypoint. So within 200 meters, the GPS is supposed to come up and the little arrow starts directing you to the waypoint. This wasn't happening with me. And so it kept telling me missed waypoint, which Daryl Curtis, my buddy from South Africa, who rides for Factory KTM, he kept saying to me, Darby, whatever you do, don't miss a waypoint. So all I had was Daryl's in the back of my head, don't miss a waypoint. So I spent half the bloody stage time going around looking for this damn waypoint. But in fact, I had actually picked it up, but my GPS was telling me I hadn't. So I lost a lot of time, and I went from 102 to 172. So come the end of the first racing stage, I was lying 172. Now, coming into the Dakar, my little goal was to be in the top 40. So yeah, the pressure was on. So come day 2, I started 172, and by the end of the stage, I think I was around somewhere around in the top 50. So I'd had a really good second day, and from then on, each day I managed to pull 10 places or so, and then So it was actually going really well. My plan of action was to ride hard, but not too hard. So I would start and go really hard and then back right off and just ride a nice, cool, smooth race, which was happening exactly how I wanted. And I was slowly making my way up. And I think I could have got to at least a 22nd, maybe a 24th overall. But what happened on the Fiambala stage was that right in the beginning of the stage, our first waypoint, a lot of us missed the waypoint and we got lost. And Daryl and I were actually together, and we realized that we had lost a lot of places and the pressure was on, and I started racing. And the most important thing in the Dakar is not to forget about your road book. Your road book is a little item in front of you, which is on a scroll, and you control it on your thumb, and that is depending on where you are on your odometer. For example, if you are on kilometer 310 on your odometer, you must be on kilometer 310 on your road book, and you have to keep resetting your odometer, because on a bike, obviously, each time you put your brakes on or you pull a wheelie or you get airborne, your wheel will slow down, and thus your calculation of the odometer will go out. So you have to keep resetting that. But on the day I fell off, I think what had happened was that the red mist had fallen and over my eyes, and I was racing. And bearing in mind I've done a lot of motocross over the years, and that flat out intense motocross came into it. And I know I was overtaking people left, right, and centre, and I was going. And I think the problem was I wasn't concentrating on my road book, because the road book tells you if there's a big danger coming up, it's in the road book. When I saw the wall in front of me, I was going very fast. I hit the wall. I tried to control it, as like you would in a big motocross jump, but I was just going too fast, and the wall was too steep. It was probably about 60 degrees, and it spat me straight over the bars. When I hit the handlebars, I already knew that it was over. I already felt my leg break. What was amazing was what goes through your brain in that split second. I thought about, number one, straight away, I thought about my family, and then I thought about the podium. I remember clearly both those things. Then I thought about the damage to my bike, and it's just amazing, you hurtling through the air, you're talking about not even a second, and it's amazing what goes through your head. Anyway, I hit the ground. I was a long way from my bike, and we have a thing called an Erie track on our bike and a Sentinel, which are both, and the GPS, which are all connected, and one is like a telephone. One, if your bike doesn't move for 5 minutes, they will phone you to find out if you're all right. But there's a button on there, and if you press that button straight away, it alerts head office straight away, and they send a helicopter. So 4 people went straight past me, and I was lying there with a very broken leg, and I think I was in a bit of shock. I've broken many times before, but not at that speed. Then my friend Oliver Setter, Oliver Setter, stopped, and he's very experienced, and he straight away pressed the red button on my Erie track. This now sent the message to head office in Paris. They sent the helicopter. Within 4.5 minutes of that button being pressed, the helicopter had landed next to me. And this is amazing. The ASO are amazing. I take my hat off to them. They looked after me from that minute to the time I landed in Santon Mediclinic. They even sent a doctor with me, first class, to make sure that I was comfortable throughout the whole flight. But what was going through my head was just all the input that had gone into the Dakar, and I knew there and then it was finished. It was over. And it was heartbreaking. It was devastating. Especially as I'd got myself into the top 20. I wanted to get into the top 40, and I was lying in the top 20. So I was really angry with myself, because I really didn't have to ride that hard. I should have just finished the stage even if I was in 60th place, I still would have had a good finish. With Dakar, especially if you are a husband or a wife, you forget, and I am one definitely who is how much your spouse goes through. And this is something I really need to bring up, because my wife, what she has gone through for me to do this is absolutely amazing. Her herself, she's done 2 London marathons. She won the British Schoolgirl Squash Championships, and she obviously didn't ever want me to do Dakar, but she realizes that it's something that I need to do in my life. I don't want to get to the end of it and say, God, I wish I'd done it, because life's short, eh? And I just thank her so much, because she supported me, and the whole time I've been away, she's been running the farm in Zambia, and we've had floods, we've had labor issues, you name it. We had a breakout of insects in Zambia that wiped out 90,000 hectares of maize all over the country, and I'm a big maize grower. So she's been through hell and back again, and I can't explain to you how thankful I am to her for what she's done and what she's been through for me. Dakar is a me sport. It's extremely selfish, and it's amazing of what other human beings can actually do for other human beings. It's mind-boggling, and I just thank her so much. And it's not only the actual race itself. In 4.5 months, I did 15,500 kilometers on a 690 training. That's excluding the nationals that I was racing in Zambia and the internationals that I was riding all over Africa. That was just me time on my bike training. That was just on the bike. Then was the physical training. I used to run around the farm with tires tied to me, and which I think was one of the best things I could ever have done, because I've never felt so strong in all my life. There's 4 people in my life who really, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to do Dakar. 1 is my wife. 2 is Charles Cox back in Zambia, Jacaranda Plant and Machinery Hire. He's a very, very close friend of mine, and just been amazing. The other is Gillian Dykes, who came with me to Dakar, and she was phenomenal. She was my logistics. Without Gillian, there wouldn't have been a Dakar. She pushed me over the edge to get me to have the balls to do it, and she came with me, and I will never be able to repay her what she has sacrificed, and her family. I mean, she has a husband and a son who are very good friends of mine, and what they have sacrificed for her to come with, for me to ride Dakar. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. And the other is Charles Bender, who is like my second father in Zambia, and his input into this whole Dakar has just been unbelievable. He made sure that I worried about nothing. I just trained, and he worried about all the paperwork in Zambia, the police certificates, you name it, the ASO paperwork. Between Gillian and Charles, they looked after all that side of things, and they just made sure that I trained. And I think they had the faith in me that they knew that I would train until I would either get to Dakar or I'd die training. But without those 4 people, it wouldn't have happened, and I really thank them. The other people that I really need to thank are my sponsors. Jacaranda Plant and Machinery Hire, BSI Steel from Zambia, South Africa. Nemchem, very good friend of mine, Mike Barotta. Morally, financially, KTM Zambia, Ray Wilson. Marco Kamano, Honda Zambia. My KTM, I had a KTM factory rally replica. It was the only bike KTM with Honda Zambia written on it. I mean, it had a Honda sticker on it. And the fact that a Honda agent helped sponsorship towards a KTM rider, I think is amazing. And that gives you an insight into what the Zambian people community are like. It goes beyond what bike you ride in that. It's more of a spiritual thing, and very close-knit family. And Pirelli tires, Wayne, the tires, I had 14 rear tires, 11 front tires, 14 rear mousses, and 11 front mousses. It's a hell of an expense, and Wayne organized them, and I really thank Wayne from Pirelli. That's just amazing. And Rankin Engineering from Zambia. My brother-in-law works with them, and it's amazing. They came forward. The boss hardly knew me, and he put in a lot of money into my Dakar, and I just thank them so much. And without these people, it's a non-starter. I don't want to mention figures, but people have an idea of how much Dakar costs. It's just amazing. My rally bike alone is over 300,000 rand. And KTM South Africa were phenomenal. I got a nice discount on my bike, and I was just there yesterday. They're really nice people, and it's like a family. KTM, it's awesome. It's like a small knit family. Daryl and Rion, good friends of mine, Ingo, we were all on KTM rallies. The other people I need to thank are UFO Plastics. They sponsored all my kit, helmet, boots, pants, and it was 4 sets. And Giovanni Sala organised that. A friend of his, Simone, is the owner's son of UFO Plastics, and they came forth and sent all the stuff from Italy, and the stuff was amazing. I've used UFO kit for a long time, and I totally rely on it. It's brilliant, absolutely. The rally jacket, the boots, the helmet, it's phenomenal stuff. And the other people I'd like to thank are Greenbelt Fertilizers. It's a totally Zambian company, good friends of mine. I'm a farmer, I buy fertilizer from them. They came forward and they put in good sponsorship for me to get to Dakar. Agay, they're very good friends of mine. They are people who spray our crops with aeroplanes, and brilliant. They came forward and put in good money to get me to Dakar. And without these people, I wouldn't have got there. And what is amazing with it all is it's not like someone like Greenbelt Fertilizers is going to, Agay, are going to benefit at all from me riding through Peru with their brand on my bike. It's not going to happen, But this is amazing thing with Dakar is it's more of a small community thing, especially in Zambia, where people coming forward and helping you get to live your dream, and they putting in good money. And it's just amazing that these people do this, because what are they going to benefit? The other people who are very close to me and who really helped me a lot, physically, mentally, and spiritually, were Matoba Veterinary Center, the vets back in Mazibuko, my hometown in Zambia. And I just want to thank them. They're avid bikers, and I ride with them all the time in Zambia. And they were amazing. They every now and then, quickly a couple of 100 bob in my pocket, just when I'm not looking, choop, into my pocket, and I just can't thank the people enough. I just wish I'd got to the finish line. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, and you learn from it. You have to take these experiences and learn from them, and this is what I will do. I will be back to Dakar. I don't know whether I'll be back this next year, but certainly the following year. And I'll finish what I started.